Herb?
I strongly support buying that machine. I think the fire departments, they have a tough enough time it is. We can help them out, the volunteers, but I strongly support it.
Thanks, sir. I just want to bring up that obviously next year it's going to increase my labor hours because somebody's got to go do it. And then also because most volunteer departments are at night. So I got to send somebody to a fire station at night and then just fuel, which I've got the vehicle at this facility to utilize.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. PS2, resolution authorizing the Oswego County Emergency Management Office to accept funding from the Walmart Spark Good Local Grant. I got a motion for discussion. Got a second? I see Kathy here, so shoot, Tyler. Okay.
I think our drug coordinator has received this grant a couple years since we're running now, so just doing it again this year. $750 to go to support drug program.
Any questions, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. PS3, resolution authorizing budget modification, Sheriff's Office transfer from insurance recovery, Treasurer's Office to automotive supplies, repairs, road division. Can I get a motion? Sure, thank you. Chuck, thanks for the second. Any discussion? All right, this was in the amount, I think, of
$4,277.
4,277. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's move on to the Oswego County Domestic Terrorism Plan. Sal, you want to talk a little bit about that?
As usual, Brad Trudell has done a fantastic job putting this together. It just goes to the state and legislature off well a little bit. So,
Any further discussion on that? That was something good. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Brian, are you voting on that one? Or? I'm sorry. Okay, let's move on to department head reports. Yes, start with me. Go ahead.
Yep. Good morning, everybody. You have an EMT class coming up. It's going to be listed in Phoenix. It's going to run August 9th to December 6th. It'll be original and a refresher, so if anyone's looking for refreshers, gladly will take them. And then the originals are partnering with MAVAC, which is a Northern Onondaga County area income sport to run this sport. So a new partnership that reached out and needed help, and they're going to come in and help train some of our local people as well. So mutually beneficial. Really excited. The CIC the instructor we're working with, certified instructor coordinator, CIC. He's a newer CIC. He's really energetic, really eager to teach. He's a flight medic, been for a medic long time, has a wealth of knowledge. We're really lucky to have him join our instructor staff. So I'm really excited about this class. I think it's going to be a really well put together class. So we are going to announce that. We submitted to the state and waiting for state approval, but we're going to formally announce that class relatively soon. I was able to attend a tour of the public safety program at City BOCES, including the EMT program that Oswego City is partnering them on. They got a really good program going down there. They're probably going to train up about 15 to 18-ish, I think was the number, new EMTs right out of high school, right out of the program. Zach Leonard, McPhee, and NOCA, all these agencies are already partnering with them on this program as well, and a lot of these kids are going to be seeking employment in EMS right out of graduation, and they're going to have a certificate ready to go in hand and be able to go work and serve our communities. So I think we were able to partner with them using some ARPA funds to get them off the ground, and it's a fantastic, well-run program. They're doing a great job, and I think all of us are going to see the benefits of having these kids who are eager to participate in EMS and have a job right out of high school and be productive and serve in an area that needs it. So really excited to attend and help support that program in any way. The state also hosted a town hall session about the new advanced EMT course requirements that are coming up, which we just finished a class. We're thinking about running another one next spring timeline, I believe, fall, winter and spring. We might be running another one. I'm still waiting to hear back from an instructor if that's going to be a possibility. Nothing crazy. We were kind of fortunate that this advanced EMT class we just ran to have some insight on the requirements the state was going to create, so we were kind of able to adapt the class we just ran to what those new requirements are going to look like. So we have a little bit of an ability to just kind of quickly adapt when those new requirements become official. So, and they're all changes for the better. They're making that level a lot more clear and concise on the education piece, which was needed. So, it's not on there, but if anyone has any need for stop and lead training, just let me know. I'm happy to come out and facilitate. Start the lead month is in May, I believe, so it is, if anyone's interested, I think year to date, we're up around 60 people training stop and lead, and we always try to look for more. Those are pre-programmed we offer, so it's got to ask for it. It's really good course. Still working, pretty well with the EMS agencies. We just had a deal meeting last week. Very productive. Had some good feedback. Some positive changes coming down the pipe that I should have more information on at next month's meeting. Working really well at the hospital. The hospital's new emergency manager and their staff have been working very well with EMS on communicating a couple of new things like ambulance bay, entrance at the hospital, ambulances are going to start pulling the other way for EMS requests. Damage to ambulances from the wind. That's the wind coming up the lake and swinging doors open and blowing in patient space when you open them back up, you're getting flags wind. So hospital is willing to work with us on swapping the order, how they pull in, which is nice. And that's been all going pretty well. Still working with Tyler and our other partners on the MCI plan, and I was able to participate in a wildfire tabletop exercise I'm sure Tyler's going to dive into. And then I hope I did a little bit better with my acronyms this month. I spelled out some of them. I apologize for the last couple. I know there's a lot of acronyms floating around, so I tried to do a little bit better typing them out. So that's what I got. If anyone has any questions or anything, I'd be glad to address.
Questions for Dave? Bill?
Understand with the EMT training in Phoenix, is that a beginning one or is that a follow-up or additional?
So it's running as a refresher and an original.
Okay,
So we submitted, it'll be the same course as far as instructor and location, but technically it's two separate courses in a state database. So, but yeah, people with no experience can take it. People that already have an EMT and need to renew can take it as well.
thank you.
Yep.
And I think we should have some kind of a countywide little booklet that we all can have that's got all the acronyms in it, and then we can take it to every place we go and every time we get it for all the different committees. But I mean, for every committee, if we have one little booklet, it's kind of like a regular booklet. I'm serious. It's
Jennifer is putting that together. I reviewed a couple of days ago. She's waiting on one more department, and you're gonna, so you'll have it probably within a week.
excellent. It's something to have for every committee. Just bring it with you because
I thought some of these acronyms, I know all of us are just like, it's just second nature to say it, and I forget to spell them out and say, hey, this is actually what this could mean, instead of leaving it in a guessing game. So I apologize for that.
well, you're not the only department that has it. Trust me, every committee we go to.
I will. I try to do better on that going forward. So
Great job.
Thank you.
that's what I got.
All right, let's go, Emo.
Keep it short, sweet to the point. The hazard mitigation plan is just about done. We had two public input sessions last week, and then we're just going to finalize any requests or changes that were made, and hopefully get that shipped off to the state and FEMA for, well, I believe this county is the next one there as well, but just about done with that project. They mentioned the county MCI plan is just about finalized. We're putting together some training that we're going to go out and teach a bunch of agencies. Some of the mechanisms that are in that plan and some best practices on managing next kind of incidents, and a tabletop exercise or two to follow that later on this year. We are also working with the health department. They got a grant on, we're going to be focusing on how we can better communicate weather risks to the public and how the public perceives that, so we can make sure that everybody stays informed when we're having severe weather events happen. We did, in partnership with Shane in his office, do a wildfire tabletop exercise that I do realize I sent it out a little bit last minute to the committee, and it was also caucus night, so my bad on that. But if it's something that committee members are interested in attending as we do tabletop exercises, then you have to then you can kind of see a little bit more about specifically like the departments from the county level, what we do, but also how we interface with the different agencies, like those. So if there's something people are interested in, I'm happy to continue to send the invite. This is a 2 exercise here. I know Kathy may have mentioned that previously. So radiological wise, we're going to have a state evaluated exercise in September and then a FEMA evaluated one in October. And we did kick off some initial planning meeting for that, and we're going to continue that monthly. And then it's also a FEMA evaluated year for Sigo Health for their ability to receive and properly care for a radiological contaminated patient. Drone-wise, John submitted a report that does include the March 25 numbers. Just a quick run through of it. Agency assists for 7 flights, building collapses were 9 flights, structure fires were 22, warrant investigation 4, training 5, and maintenance flights 3. I will let Kevin talk about the PFR side of things. They did bring a slot robot out to the county hazmat team and talk about ways that could integrate into a hazmat response. So we may not have to send, not our office, his office, may not have to send people into a hazmat situation if they don't have to be in there. And lastly, it looks like Lake Ontario levels are below what they were in 23 and 24. If that's any other questions, I can try and answer them, or I can just have Kat get back to it. It's hard to believe I mean, it's below, but you can see the trend is it is rising faster than it previously has. But still nothing that we're super concerned about, but it gets that just to let you know.
Oh, yeah, question.
Real quick, is the New York State Fair still involved in the radiological? Okay.
If the fairgrounds as a facility, and we partner and have a contract with Onondaga County to some staff to support that.
I'm just wondering if they still worry on the dorms and everything. Okay.
Any other questions? Moving on, 911.
I apologize. I was at the New York State 911 Coordinators Conference. I missed the deadline, so I report. So, but just high level, we did have 96.31% of emergency calls answered within 15 seconds. As Tyler mentioned, our drone and box drone first responder did start doing some flights in past month, and we had a total of 46 flights from the docks. 6 of those were on incidents, the rest were trainings, as we were working our way through different things and stuff like that. So those numbers are definitely going to go up because we've done a lot since post-poll. So the month of April is definitely more than March. Consortium will continue to work on our governance project that will document all of the things that we're way we work, which is extremely important since we're adding 2 brand new counties, St. Lawrence County and Tioga County, into the consortium. They're connecting into the radio core. And so it's an excellent thing. It's more cost sharing. It's going to be more savings to us, but it increases the need for governance because people operate different across the state. So St. Lawrence operates a lot differently than Tioga County. Make sure we're doing things in a similar manner, at least in certain aspects, because we are connected with the radio system. The CSI committee CRG mapping project, that the enhanced mapping, next month I'll plan on bringing a actual report with some imagery and stuff like that. All of the schools are completed at this point. The county buildings are a little over halfway completed. So that project's probably within the next month or so we'll be wrapping up. The next phase of that will be getting back to the schools, giving them the imagery and connecting it into our CAD system so that way the first responders can start having access from our portion. I plan on giving the imagery to the school districts and giving them the ability to be able to disperse those out to the fire EMS and law enforcement agencies. all of our end users that have CAD, which are all three, fire, EMS, and law enforcement now, will have access to CAD once we do get that turned on in our mapping. But it's going to take a little bit for us to get it.
Question is, all the work that's gone into this imagery and everything, how do we make sure that it's kept up, so when all of a sudden there's a renovation, that you guys, everybody knows about the renovation?
So we put it in our communication plan, and then we want to reach out to the schools twice a year to confirm, to see if they've made any modifications that are worthy enough to have us go back out and do another one. Depending on what's changed, where it's changed, will depend on whether or not we need the whole thing again or just modify it for. So
Okay. I mean, so much work went into it, it'd be terrible.
yeah, it's really not
Here
a
it is.
huge amount of cost per floor. It's like $1,200 if they rework the whole thing, and it's much cheaper than that to just make a change for the renovation.
Excellent. Okay, good.
So, yeah, that's definitely on the radar. Also, the Motorola Aware software, which is the integrated centralized piece of software that's going to tie all of the CAD, AVL, so the vehicle GPS, and all of the video cameras as we start working into that piece. That has been spun up on our server, and within the next week or two, that's going to be turned over to us, and we're going to get training on that to be into that and start working on that, which also will allow for the radio system to integrate into it. There's as I mentioned, the vehicle GPS is going to be in there, as well as possibilities of phone interaction and stuff like that in the future, which is actually pretty cool. So that's going to be huge. As I mentioned, Advanced Telecommunicator, we've actually had those two Advanced Telecommunicator employees have been sitting in this position for about more than a couple handfuls of shifts now, which is helpful because staffing is allowed for that. The big thing that's happened with this is really the drone piece this month. We got a updated certificate of agreement with the FAA that has allowed now for us to actually fly anywhere that there's airspace monitoring. So we moved out of the testing phase and actually into the response phase and the actual full-blown approval phase. So because of that, and it happening so quickly, we expected that to be another couple months worth of us sending information back just on the Fulton site. Giving us the ability now where where we have airspace monitoring. So John McGraw has had one meeting with New Air. I sat in on a second one out of Syracuse. That's a company they're the company that has the drone corridor between Syracuse and Rome, and they already have airspace monitoring in that particular area. And they're willing to extend that to Stewart County, obviously for a cost, but it'll actually end up being a cheaper cost than what we tried to do it on our own, and also be more enhanced than it trying to do it on our own. So lots of opportunities there. They're waiting for the FAA approval for to be able to offer that as a service out to other entities and governmental, specifically governmental entities. So once they get that, they're expecting that within the next couple of weeks. Then we'll see how it hits with the approval or with the time frame for committee cycle. My hope would be maybe I'll have an agreement to be able to come back next month to but that would cover actually almost all of southern, extremely southern, but southern Stewart County, Phoenix area, across the village of Sunny Square, West Monroe, majority of the town of West Monroe, majority of the town of Constantia, and then almost all of that Cleveland of the town of Constantia, as well as all of the Mag Lake, which will be extremely, extremely helpful for what we're looking to get down there.
Have we made any progress on it?
So we have two
Coming up, right?
Yep. So, I mean, at this point, we don't have any airspace monitoring that's down there. We were working towards putting one of our airspace monitoring 360-degree cameras up down there. With this being an option now, this is, like I said, cheaper to actually do this, and it covers the whole thing. We would have to put 4 of the 360-degree cameras up in order to be able to do the same thing that they're doing, and it'd be probably, with their initial estimate, more than triple the amount for us to do that. So, so with that, I stopped looking at trying to put a tower in to be able to get that up and running. But we do have 2 trailers that we've outfitted with all of the technology and the firewalls and docks on them that we can take and put anywhere. So if we work this agreement out, then put that anywhere is pretty much, put those anywhere is, pretty much along North Shore, as well as we still have 2 additional docks to put in play as well, which kind of shooting more towards Pulaski, since we'll have the other 360-degree cameras that we already have, put those in service on county property as opposed to the ones we were looking at across the North Shore were going to be private property, unfortunately, which is going to be less than ideal. So we are making some excellent progress on that. It's really good. I mean, that FAA thing is enormous. So FDNY, NYPD, and Schuylkill County, once they got that additional. So I think us being on the same time frame with us and them got us kicked along just as quickly. So beyond that, I mentioned I was at the New York State 911 Coordinators Conference. Some really good stuff there that we brought worked with the Vice President, so took care of a lot of the vendor things. One big presentation that they made at the conference had them bring in was New York State did a presentation on first responder mental health. And one of the big alarming things as we were looking down through a survey that was done over the past 8 months or so, and then compilated, was that right across the board almost, the impact of mental health issues, substance abuse issues because of their jobs, things like that, were drastically increased across 911. And this actually puts statistics and information to that. So I'll email that out, the filtered down version to you guys, but I think it's important for all of our public safety folks that, it was alarming across the board for law enforcement, fire, EMS, but it's beyond scary for that one person. So some of the stats that they put out there. So I won't ramble on too long about that, but it is something that known has been an issue. We'll work towards trying to make sure we support that with peer support. But unfortunately, in our section of the state, there's not a lot of other resources outside of big problem. Not many places that first responders have to be able to go to be able to talk to professional officials. There's 2 in East Syracuse, 1 in Watertown, and nothing in our particular area. If you're looking, with somebody that has first responder, which first responders are different than everybody else. We see things, we deal with things, so and talk a different way about how we see things. So, but so those are the things I wanted to highlight for you. So, okay, thank you. Bill?
Bill, and at NICEAG a couple of years ago, there was a speaker that was speaking about mental health and how they would come in, and it was for first responders, and it was really a regular program. It was kind of like see something, say something type of a deal, and it was a way for more people to be aware of if you see something going on with somebody, and then who to not, and it was more or less something as who should you notify, and then it was professionals at the end. It was a great program, and I want to try to get more information since those statistics are right there, is that maybe we could bring that here. Because they come right to the county, and it's more or less a seminar, not just a seminar, but a program that they teach people, and it's classroom to teach everybody. See something, say something, try to help. It was a really good program. It was like down in Broome County, I believe, was the ones that were speaking at it. I was very impressed at the time. So,
I'll find out a little bit.
yeah.
Questions for Kevin? Right.
Recently, Kevin, I was over at Southern Beach, and I had to make a call to 911. I don't know if is that on Adair County or is that Oneida?
Over there, I mean, you could hit honestly any of the 4, really. I mean, probably not at Schuylkill County. It's probably either at Nider or Madison.
What they did after my call, they texted back to me asking me how the service was.
That's Nider County there.
Okay, that's something that
we've looked into that product. I mean, right now we do a manual process. If someone calls 911 from a specific location and it has to, we try to make sure that somebody wants to be anonymous or whatever, we don't send them a, hey, how was your call to 911 type of thing, you know, but we mail out comment cards and stuff. We just recently added a QR code, so that way they can just snap a picture and do it real quick, they can send it back to us.
I had to call because they asked for a check on the welfare of an animal that was placed in the car. And it was 75 degrees last Thursday, so you know the temperature was in the car, even if you got the windows cracked. That's what the guy came up with. Well, I had windows. I don't care how, you know, how much you make the windows open there. Dog's been in there for almost an hour. Then he rattled off the next, you know, under the county sheriff. It's one of the things that state deputy and, you know, I said, I don't care, that's my duty to follow this.
It's one of the things that's on the list, it's just a separate piece of
Right,
software.
but, I was just wondering, you know, and I know that, you know, they did a good job, you guys do a good job, so. I just wanted to be able to give you guys more kudos and ability. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions from Kevin? Moving on. Tony, got anything for us?
Last month, I reported that we were meeting with the Oswego County Sheriff's Department. We met with them 4-1, 3, 4-8, 4-10. Those were instructional meetings for my ADAs to meet with the sheriff deputies, investigators, update on updated laws, et cetera, and also just to find very important to meet and greet with our deputies, for them to ask us questions and to meet our different days. Our office has been very well. I also had the opportunity to add an invite to the town and village supervisors. They met with us, my office, up in my office on April 23rd. It was very, we went over our traffic diversion disposition portal that we're currently using and how we distribute, how we're supposed to audit and distribute proceeds. It was very truthful, very well received meeting. A lot of questions and answers were had. I was also invited to Oswego County Magistrates meeting on Friday, which I did participate in meet and greet, and of course some of the issues, of course, were our Oswego traffic diversion disposition portal, diversion portal as well. That was a very positive meeting as well. Went very well.
We're getting most of the kinks worked out of that now?
We're still revising
Still
our
tweaking it a
website,
little bit?
but I think it's getting across at this point in time. We're trying to make it very simple to read, very easy to use. That's our goal. And as of last week, updated our website to make it simpler and easier to use. Our company is working with us to get in hand to develop an easier, better way of doing it. In fact, as I reported last time, this Wednesday, they're coming providing us with the 2 kiosks in one of our offices. Hopefully Wednesday or Thursday. That's pretty much it.
No?
Tony, I know one of the problems I've been told is that the money was going to the wrong person in the towns, and that was causing some of the issue. Has that been addressed? It was like the money, instead of going to the courts, was going to the supervisor, and then it was going into the general fund, and the courts weren't even aware that the money had come in.
Supervisor. Well, supervisors are the people responsible. You don't send it directly to the courts. The courts never directly receive money. And we do, I guess the confusion is when we submit our audited paperwork at the end of the day to the county treasurer, we assume that the reports or the backup was actually going to the supervisors. With the meeting, we found out that that really wasn't happening, so we've agreed. In lieu of doing that, we'll send backup to the treasurer. We'll also send it independently to the supervisor as well, so that they have backup as well. So I think that was the confusion, and that I think that everybody was happy with that, and we did provide after the meeting, we were able to provide the backup to the supervisors as well. We didn't seem to have any issues with that after the report provided.
I thought it was just a little communication problem between the supervisor and the justice, and let them know that we received the money, you know.
Well, I mean,
Because they were
I
saying
mean,
you didn't get
honestly,
it.
now I did tell you that we're a little bit late. That's all been reconciled.
Okay.
And we've received all the information has been provided to the supervisors, and not received any. And if we have issues, we've addressed them, but there's not been a major issue.
Jim?
I was just gonna add, Tony actually, question, former town supervisor, the money never went to always. The thing that did happen is the court system would see a giant fine, large fine that they had put on a person, whatever, that money goes to Albany, then Albany sends you back your sliver.
Yeah.
And the Justice Department would never really see that sliver.
Okay, so they didn't see the sliver either. Okay, I guess so. I don't know what somebody said.
Honestly, this is a supervisor issue, sharing that information to the court. But it's nice that he's
Yes,
addressing that.
communication is major here. So, and it's so good that you're having it with the justices as well as the supervisors. I think that's great.
We're also going to invite the justices after the magistrates meeting that I was invited to. I said that I would, my office is open if you want me to provide a demonstration, and I'm putting out that invite for the middle of May this year. So whoever, whichever justice wants to participate, my office is open to it, and we'll provide that instruction.
You did your due diligence to invite.
Right, you still something.
Yeah, question, just change away from that. Special prosecutor, where does the money come from? How much do we pay a special prosecutor? Prosecute cases that we can't prosecute. Does that come out of, your budget comes out of?
Yes, yes, it comes out of this department, but it's not supposed to be paid out of it. So we can.
Out of fund balance, do we set a specific amount that we will pay, or?
We didn't
set a
budget
bill?
We didn't budget
I mean, I'm not gonna bring up the case, but I just wonder, are we getting do we check to see if we're getting our money's worth? From where that's,
From there. I mean,
from any
as far as special
I don't want
A little bitter that you were looking to?
not a little bitter, I'm just asking.
Can I explain the process? That if we find that there's a conflict, someone in our office,
Right.
former prosecutor, former defense has any issue, then I would make an application to the Fifth Judicial District, and the Fifth Judicial District outside of me would then appoint a special prosecutor. A lot of times it's another district attorney's office. If it's another district attorney's office, you're really not seeing that other district attorney's office petition the county of Oswego reimbursed for that prosecution. However, we also gave a list to the Fifth Judicial, and there are some private attorneys that do special prosecution. I do not, obviously, because of conflict, I do not have any say or any input in that, otherwise it would be an issue if we have conflict. The rate is set by the Fifth Judicial District, and it's comparable to what you pay the city council, to be clear. So, and it's on an order all the time. So every order is sent to, signed by the Fifth Judicial, which is Judge Karabunis, and we serve it whoever the special prosecutor is, and they decide whether they're going to accept appointment. After that, I know nothing. There's a reason why.
I mean, the reason I'm just asking because, if there is, are we, making sure that we're getting what we asked to have done.
That would be out of my hands, because I have.
So we don't, so we asked for a special, we put it to the, right, and they're the ones that'll say, they're checking to see if work is being done on the cases.
Well, I mean, I'm presuming some sort of voucher system where they're showing work they did, and it's just like an assigned council defense attorney, they have to prove what they did and then receive reimbursement for their time and effort and expenses.
Any other questions? Doc, you're up.
Wednesday is the ribbon cutting, official ribbon cutting, Police Academy. You should have. Not let me know. If you haven't had the opportunity to take a tour of that place, it's pretty awesome. This Friday we had an academy graduation for corrections. First time, probably full staff of corrections. 10, 12, I think, state corrections people.
Their losses are gained, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing to me, some of these people have taken a $20, $25 an hour cut and pay to work for us, but we love them. So, the first time ever they get to see the families. Road patrol's a few weeks into their,
How many guys do we have in that?
I'm sorry,
How many do we have?
I think we started out with 809, was it? I think
And
we started
one so far. So I think we're down to 7.
The total cadets, how many?
33 are in the class.
334. It's a good class.
Questions? Well,
How did the ATV meeting go?
Went very well. We'll be bringing that to your community, but I shouldn't say we paid that club, that new club that they're proposing. It's, recommend.
Yeah, I really wanted to go to, I just couldn't go to it, but thank you.
Great turnout for that. People there, so.
Awesome. There's a lot of support.
60 showed up, 40.
Excellent. That's the interest, and that's what it's gonna push it.
It's huge money for this company.
anything else? Shane, you're up.
Month of March activity, 31 activations, 8 structure fires, 3 hazmat calls, 4 fire investigations, 1 dive, 13 no responses, and 2 other. List of classes there. As of this morning, the truck company ops class had to be canceled. Received a call from the state instructor, and he's out sick, so he's unable to teach that. We'll get that rescheduled as soon as we can. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was it started up this year for the upper yard that's up by the office. All the props up there. We had no power up there, so we had a substantial. I haven't seen the bill yet, but I'm afraid to see it. Expensive electrical repair from the building out to the control center. So just to give you a heads up on that. And with that, we 107 classes, 612 students with 333 hours of instruction.
How are the numbers in the departments looking? We're gaining any ground? Still losing?
I think they're staying even. There's been some movement between departments. Happens every year during election time. So, but pretty much, I think they're holding their own at the moment.
Questions for Shane? Very done. That's it. Search and rescue is once here.
I have a little bit of an update, so trying to get good up there, but.
Oh, yeah.
You want to do search and rescue?
Yeah, sure, send me the.
Yeah, the report's in the packet, yeah.
So 60 calls a day for them. I had a breakdown of the report that they sent in. One thing I highlighted, they provided support for 2 separate operational periods. The New York State Forest Rangers for 8 search done in East Point and Broome County. That is just a part of the statewide federation. All go and support these sort of searches. They also had a member give a presentation to the Fulton Golden Acre Stop Project Lifesaver, and with that, we did want to offer, they would like to do a presentation to the Public Safety Committee on Project Lifesaver. So if that is something the committee is interested in, let me know who a point of contact for that would be. I can get them in touch with either Aaron or Vance.
Questions?
I forgot one question. How are we doing on vacancies for 911?
So we've got a group class that's going on right now. There was 3 new people in it. We're filling the vacancies in the county cab. One person unfortunately didn't make it. So we're down to 2, so we will have one vacancy that with that full staff.
So this is good,
So-
much better than what we've been hearing.
That, yes, better.
Well, that's all good, good corrections, that's
So,
good.
I'm expecting retirement, which is what that one position will fill, so, we'll have
We'd love to have a presentation on Project Lifesaver. Just have contact Betsy, let her know what meeting he wants to come to.
You got it. Yeah, they've been doing a good job of doing they saw the updated video that they did just recently, us in the sheriff's office. That was pretty awesome. Good job. They got a grant stuff to take care of that. So,
Any other business? John, look for the appropriate motion. Adjourn. Thank you, everyone.
Bill said my brain's about yeah.
Sorry, Mark, I was late.
It's like,
Oh,
For sure. Next.
That's right, okay, 25 push-ups, huh? So, I thought it was fun.
Yeah, please. Yeah, so there should be one here.
Oh, it's a different one you're saying, right?
It should be the same.
Out?
Yeah, it's the 36.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
Yep, that one is full. Yep. So, probably, I'm not. Whatever you guys wish to do with it.
Yeah, we'll have to have Bill.
Okay. Shane, this one here is right.
that's the boss in the room, just over the weekend.
Do you want this one? The other one was yours, right?
Yes.